Good morning and welcome to week 2 of the Citi Business Festival. The Citi Business Festival is a month-long of activities and conversations that are geared towards growing your business. This year we're doing things a little bit differently. We're not doing off-air activities. Instead, we're doing online engagements like this. Last week we had Rebooting Your Businesses, where we learned how to take advantage of the opportunities that COVID-19 has created to grow our businesses. This week we'll be talking about e-commerce. How do we leverage this online space to grow our businesses? And if you are now looking into growing your business on e-commerce, don't worry. If you're trying to scale up your activities, we will learn how to acquire customers, how to retain customers, how to receive payments online, and how to grow our businesses generally. So a lot of you have joined us via Zoom. We have our guests who are also here with us. 2 of them also join us via Zoom, and some entrepreneurs will share their experiences with us as well. So do not go anywhere. We'll go for this quick break and then continue the conversation.
COVID-19 has changed the world. But despite the challenges we face, the spirit of Africanacity is still alive. It's in the tenacity of the men and women who are still keeping us safe and keeping us going. It's in the creativity you use to find new ways to work, teach, do it all, and stay together, even if you're apart. And it's in the ingenuity of all those who are making a difference. Thank you to everyone still getting things done. Your Africanacity inspires us.
My name is Cosmetic. I'm the CEO of Vesta Oil Mills. Vesta Oil Mills actually started way back 2004. We used to process palm kernel. In 2006, we brought in soya, and we started processing soya, and we've been processing soya since, because soya has become the mainstay of the business. Our mantra is think globally, buy locally. And I equally entreat all investors and businesses, both Ghanaian and foreign, to grow in Ghana and grow with Ghana.
Unlock banking with biometrics. Now you can access the Absa mobile banking app using your fingerprint or facial recognition. Download today. That's Africanacity. That's Absa.
My name is Romi Bujay, Chief Executive and MD of IT Consulting. Ghana is a very friendly and peaceful country and very welcoming in terms of investment. So I encourage everyone, both local and foreign, to invest in this economy as we grow this country to be one of the best, not just in the sub-region, but in Africa. So join me and all our colleagues to grow in Ghana and grow with Ghana.
Shop online, get free swipes, and enjoy greater security with a card that turns banking on its head. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Welcome back. This is week 2 of the Citi Business Festival. Our theme today is e-commerce, exploring new ways to engage our customers. If you have any questions throughout our conversation, use the hashtag Citi Business Festival, or you can reach us directly through our WhatsApp line 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana, just use the country code +233 and I'll receive your questions directly and ask our panel. Now, if you're looking for a place to check your balances, to pay your bills, to transfer money, and also shop online, then the ABSA Bank mobile app is for you. Just take your phone. If you have an iOS phone or a Samsung phone, download that app and you can do all these things. I'm going to introduce our people who are with us, our resource people. We have 2 here with us. 2 will join us via Zoom, and we're also going to talk to a series of entrepreneurs about their real-world experience applying some of the topics we will discuss today. I'll start off with Richardson. He's the Chief Enablement Officer of ABSA Bank Ghana. You tell us what that means, but good morning, Ebo.
Good morning.
What is the Chief Enablement Officer?
Well, in its simplest terms, the Chief Enablement Officer, I guess, is the person responsible for rebuilding those digital assets that are really going to drive the bank forward in an enlightened age, more digital age, which is also rapidly changing.
Okay. And we also have Stephen Naasei Boadi. He's a lead enabler. We have 2 enablers here with us at Enable Growth Consults. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Jifa.
What's a lead enabler?
All right, so my company, Enable Growth Consult, we partner with organizations to help them to embrace digital and grow, because we believe that digital is the enabler for growth. So as lead enabler, I lead the team in doing that. Yeah.
Nice. And then virtually we have Maximus Ametorgoh, who is the digital lead of Pop Out. Good morning, Maximus. He will be joining us shortly. We also have with us on Zoom Archie Hesse. He's the Chief Executive Officer of GIPS. They'll be telling us all about what they do. But I want to start off with you, Stephen. Oh, both of them are here. Good morning. Stephen, I'll start with you. When we talk about new ways of engaging our customers, especially in the e-commerce world, for entrepreneurs who are now starting out, what are some of the steps they can start taking before they even acquire that one customer to ensure that the minute the person purchases the product or service, they will be so engaged that you don't have to try so hard to get them back? I also have to say good morning to the 3 entrepreneurs who will be sharing their stories with us. I don't want to reveal their identities yet. And our Zoom audience, I see all of you guys, you look so beautiful. So Stephen, I'll throw this first question at you. During the customer acquisition stage, what should entrepreneurs do to ensure that they engage their customers?
Thank you very much. I mean, there's a model I often like to recommend, and it's called the inbound marketing model. It has 4 stages. It has the attract, convert, close, and delight. So we're talking specifically about the attract stage now. Before customers get engaged in any way, they are strangers, really. And whether you are a shoe designer or you're a makeup artist or whatever, you really want to attract them. To attract them, you need to tell stories about your services that you provide. And this is where the stories you tell and where you tell the stories, these are important. So talking digital, you can do that via blogs. So for example, if let's say it's a restaurant, you can decide that what you want to really do is talk about the various dishes, whether it's like sampling dishes from Accra or from Kumasi or wherever. So you're generating content that people are interested in coming back there to look at. Now what you want to do is use that to position yourself as the go-to person, as the expert when it comes to food. So you're teaching people about that, but you are attracting them. So here you create the relevant content and you put on the platforms where they're having conversations. So yesterday we talked about understanding the digital landscape, for example. So in this case, a small business, what you want to do is you're creating this great content. And sometimes you don't need to spend a lot of money as a small business. It's your phone that you're going to use. And you probably have a tripod, but you rehearse everything very well. It's scripted. So you do, it could even be just pictures of various recipes. And what you do is you put them on these platforms. So for example, if it's Instagram that you identify that most of the people you're targeting will go to, you put it there. Okay, if it's on Facebook, you put them there. But the stories you tell about these dishes are important. I often say this, that for example, if it's clothes hanging on a hanger or a mannequin are very different from when people are wearing them. Once somebody's wearing them, it speaks a lot. Shoes, for example. So invest in taking the right pictures, and where you push this content is very, very important. Now that's the attract stage. So you do a lot at this stage. It will move you then, that will give you the awareness that you need to create. So you're creating this awareness. It will move you then to the stage I call convert. Now let me explain the convert stage. Often we are in a hurry to make money, so convert, we see it as only a sale. But convert is not always a sale. Sometimes the data that you get from and the experts have done this. Amazon owns e-commerce, whether we like it or not. Amazon owns e-commerce. And you find that sometimes the most important thing Amazon wants is to see the kind of products that you looked at when you came onto the platform. So that when you come back and you say, the last time you looked at these, are you ready to put these in your shopping basket? Or friends like you looked at these products and want to do that. Same with small business. When you put your products online, people come to view them. You put them at the right places. And you're running ads, for example, let's say on Facebook or whatever. Facebook knows so much about the people that are viewing them. You can tell who has viewed your products, who has watched the video of your product on YouTube or wherever. But that data becomes relevant. It's what you do. There's something we call retargeting. So you are retargeted. So that's why, for example, I'm sure you've seen this. You go on Amazon, you look at a product. By the time you're on Facebook, the product is chasing you on Facebook. It's because they are retargeting you. They are repurposing what you do. So you do a lot of this.
So what you mean practically is, let's say a friend of mine is going bald.
Yes.
And they search for creams for bald-headed people. Okay. And another friend is trying to find, ways to grow his gray beard. So then they are both on Facebook at the same time.
Yeah.
The bald-headed guy will see bald-headed ads, and the one looking to, join the beard gang in a bearded way will see bearded ads.
Yes. Because
how do they do that?
Because the company that manufactures the bald head, whatever, is doing retargeting.
Okay.
They are tracking everything that's going on.
So as entrepreneurs, we can also do that.
Yeah, the tools are there, whether it's on Google or whatever. That's why I keep saying that. You see, it's easy to run your own ads, but that's the cheap way. Just click on a button and you just get likes.
Okay.
But if you are going into the system to run the ads properly, you can track it. So, because Facebook knows too much about everybody, then you can be able to retarget it. So you can say, okay, people who looked at, let's say, hair cream, may be interested in this other product. So you'll recommend the product to them. And the best example I gave was the Amazon example. Okay. So then, what I was saying was that at the convert stage, don't look to only sell, but look to capture relevant data that you can use to remarket. Because otherwise, you're selling yourself short. There are a lot of people who would see it, they are interested, but they won't buy it at the first stage. How then do you continue nurturing them? You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, upside. A boy is here. The banks do it. You go the first time, you look at the product, they send you a brochure. A month down the line, they will tell you, the last time you looked at this brochure, are you ready to do it now? Do you know we've got a product that will suit that? Same way, whether you're a Kelewele seller or whatever, you can do some of these.
Okay, now speaking of AFSA, Evo, walk us through at what point we should begin to actively think about enablement, right, from the stage of development to the stage of growth. What role should enablement play in all of that?
Thank you very much, Sifa. So I think if we now have to start thinking about enablement, then we're a little late to the party, okay? Because I think these things have been going on for quite some time. However, what I think is happening now is a renaissance, a rebirth of sorts. I think it's a rebirth that started before COVID, but it's a rebirth that is now being accelerated somewhat by COVID. What do I mean by that? In simple terms, I think we're now beginning to realize the possibilities. And the steps that we take now going forward, the coherence of those steps will really determine the extent to which we put ourselves on the map, on the global map. Now, if you take online activities, digital, which is now a new buzzword, everybody's talking about it, and if you take sort of e-commerce, which we're trying to focus on today, there are 4 key drivers of these activities. The first is the obvious one, which is technology, right? So that's to do with, information and communication infrastructure, having the right bandwidth, etc., devices, channels. That's the technology piece. Then we have the political piece. The political piece looks at, for instance, the regime. What is the government doing to enable? If you take the government of Ghana's Cashless initiatives, financial inclusion, etc., what is the regulatory framework like? Is it supportive? Is it encouraging? That sort of thing. Then you come to social. Now, social is key because that's the element where people really sort of converge and interact. Do you have the right literacy levels? Do people know how to access some of these things and understand? Is the interactions positive? And then finally, you come to economic affordability, purchasing power. Can people afford to engage with these things? Sort of in the right way. If you put these 4 elements together, and you piece them together well enough, then you start to see the positive outcomes that you expect. And I think what we're seeing is we're starting to build the right rails. And when I say rails, I mean the infrastructural elements that will steer us in the right direction. We're starting to build them. So if you go back to technology, we're starting to see the right infrastructure. If you take communication, network, etc., the telcos have built, 4G capabilities now. We're now able to do things much better, much faster than we were before. Data is easily, readily accessible, and we can start to make use of them in very interesting, dynamic ways. If you go to politics, as I said before, if you look at Bank of Ghana's posture, they're starting to, bring in encouraging, enabling elements. They've brought e-payments bill, for instance. They've created a whole wing for fintech. Specifically to look at fintech initiatives, and they've encouraged through GIBS the creation of interoperability, which is a very powerful mechanism. That means that whether you're sitting on the mobile telecom side with wallets or whether you're on the banking side with accounts, we can seamlessly move through sort of each of these pieces. And then if you come to social, again, the social capital is improving. I think I heard some statistics yesterday when I was listening that roughly 50% of the Ghanaian population has some kind of online presence. That's very powerful. That's something you can leverage. And then also about 79% of them have access to smartphones. That's unbelievable. So there's so much capability now in this renaissance that we can drive forward. So in a nutshell, I think we're in the right place. The elements, the glue that will now make these things work is how we leverage them. And to Stephen's point, how we now take these things forward and make sure that everybody's included.
Okay, thank you very much. Guys, we're still talking about engaging our customers on the e-commerce space. So if you have any questions for our panel, let us know with the hashtag Citi Business Festival. And of course, our WhatsApp line is 0550585832. We have Sam, Frida, and now you on standby. They'll share their practical experiences with us later on. But I want to go to Maximus right now to talk to us, especially the entrepreneurs who have a large customer base offline and because of COVID-19 have had to now come online. What are some of the things we should practically do to engage these new types of customers that we are getting to ensure that they will eventually become evangelists of our brands? Maximus.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think most of the points have been shared by your in-studio panel. I still director, I forgot the name. But for an entrepreneur, I think the focus has to always be the customer. If you're able to do a proper customer profiling, you'll be guaranteed the level of need for your product and where they are located, where they are distributed, the technology tools that they have, the access points that they have in terms of devices, whether they are on smartphones, they are on laptops or other channels, to be able to access all those online channels. Now, it is very important to also know that your customers are interested in the product, not necessarily you, the entrepreneur. So if you have products that they are interested in, they are likely to come to your platform. Now, when you know where they spend most of their time in terms of the online channels, so you maybe have the website or a social media presence, then you have to also target them based on their demography, where they are located, who they are, where they work, their level of income, whether they can even buy your product frequently, repeatedly, or once in a while, or whether your product is being a seasonal product, and then what is their technology touch points. Are they tech savvy? Do they have emails? Do they have social media presence? With a better profiling of your customers, then you can be guided as to what kind of content would drive, or what kind of content or stories you can use to drive the sales of your product, so that when you are selling a shoe, what should be the context and who are you targeting? Are you targeting business owners, men, women, executive women, students, sports people? Who are you really targeting? When you have that understanding, then you can say, okay, let's use this context, whether a wedding or going to work as a context, or going to a funeral, a party, dinner to sell my shoe. So you need to be able to tell a story around that brand. Now, for an e-commerce platform, there are a lot of things that inform the decisions that people make. Now, they want to look at the product quality. Is it a product that when they wear, they can take a picture and share it on social media for them to get likes and social approval, which you already do without internet, right? So you want to look at your product. Is it a product that the customers are interested in or want to buy, and who are they? What is the digital skills of your target audience? Can they access online channels? If they're on social media, how do you position your product in their faces so they can easily make decisions? And after they buy your product, can they become advocates of your product and share with their friends? Another thing is your pricing model. Usually, people want to go for deals on the online channels. If I walk into a shop and the product is 50 cedis, then I go on the online platform, then it's the same 50 cedis, and you want me to buy, pay for delivery and all that, and the price comes to 75 cedis. I'm most likely going to walk to the physical shop and have a physical experience with the product before I make a purchasing decision. Now, so the pricing model is very important, so that when I buy things online and have it delivered to me, it should not be more expensive than me going to the physical shop to make that take that decision. Now, the payment. Do people have the payment options, whether they are using cards or they are using mobile money or whichever channel? Is your platform able to allow that? And what I see happening, or what is happening in Ghana currently, is people having social media presence either on Facebook or on Instagram or even on WhatsApp, and people requesting to buy their product, and they ask them to send them mobile money to pay. And then the next thing is, okay, we'll send the product to a courier, through a courier company, they have the product delivered to you. So there's an emergence of social mobile money and delivery that is happening, and which needs to be optimized. So we have to look at that. And then, of course, government comes in. What is the policy driving e-commerce in Ghana? We need to have that, so that anybody who is creating an online presence knows that government has a policy guiding that. The buyer knows there's a protocol governing all the online transactions on the platforms. And the other thing is policing. How do we police the platform? Because a lot of people complain about fraud on the platform. They want to buy a product, and somebody either defrauds them, or they don't get a product they want. They order for a pink shoe, and they have a black shoe delivered to them, and a whole lot of things. How do we make sure we avoid fraud and crime and the rest? So for an entrepreneur, if you are selling black shoe, it's black shoe. If you run out of black shoe, you take it off your inventory online. So the person buying is informed that, hey, you don't have a black shoe available, but you have some maybe later on. So those are the things that I would like us to I would like to touch on an entrepreneur who wants to go online. And with COVID, that is the obvious channel now. And delivery is what is driving e-commerce. And I also want to talk about the postal service. You know, in countries like Australia, right, their postal service is so massive and is so profitable, even though they have 68% of internet penetration. Their population is almost 7 million less than our population. Their land size is almost 12 times our size. And the postal service is very, very vibrant. They connect all these over 7,000 small businesses. Almost every shopping mall or a supermarket is a delivery point, a pickup point, and the rest. So they have been able to connect what I'll refer to as an outer line to the online, right? So the delivery aspect. If I want to buy a product, I just buy it online, and then the nearest shop to me will deliver it. I can pick it up, or they can deliver it to my address and all that. So we should have a way of building that delivery infrastructure, and Ghana Post and the rest should be able to build that so they can drive the e-commerce, you know, a delivery process, which is very important. Everything that is physical, that is tangible, can be posted, can be delivered, and internet must not be the hindrance. So let's have that sorted out. And for the entrepreneur, the last point, if you want to deliver something to somebody at 1 o'clock, make sure you deliver it before or on time. Not that the person is waiting and the next thing, oh, it's tomorrow. The delivery guy is going somewhere to deliver somewhere. They already know that. But have the thing delivered on time so they can build some online trust for e-commerce.
Thank you very much. Now we'll go for a quick break. I've saved Archie for last because he's going to talk to us about payments. I mean, if you're an e-commerce entrepreneur, you're trying to figure out how to get payments. You've put your products out there, you've put your services out there, but how exactly are customers going to pay? And as Maximus said, it's a very long process to put your product online and then say, send it to me mobile money, pay it to the person coming to deliver. You might lose a lot of revenue in that process. So Archie is really going to walk us through all the options available for you to get payments directly onto your e-commerce platform. It is an interactive event, so if you have any questions or comments, let us know with the hashtag Citi Business Festival, and you can reach us directly on our WhatsApp line 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, please use the country code +233. We'll be right back.
Online, get free swipes, and enjoy greater security with a card that turns banking on its head. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Located at the center of the world, Ghana is the best investment destination in West Africa and ranks as West Africa's first in the Ease of Doing Business Report 2019. It was projected as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, with a growth rate of 6.8% in 2019, and has been declared as Africa's new bright spot after being ranked 4th in the world and 1st in Africa in the 2019 Global Retail Development Index. As the host of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Ghana is creating the linkages that will make it the gateway to Africa, aided by dynamic policies, a stable political environment, and strong economic fundamentals. It is a land of opportunities, offering businesses across many sectors the potential to flourish. The country is open and accessible to investors and the private sector, providing a peaceful environment and upholding the rule of law. The government of Ghana is confident and optimistic about the positive results in its investment drive through the GIPC. Ghana has 8 million hectares of arable land, well irrigated by a wide network of water bodies, making it a region ready for large-scale mechanized agriculture. the government and major policy planners recognize that expanding the agro-industrial base is the best path to develop. Ghana has put in place the right legal and regulatory framework to increase foreign direct investment. The Industrial Zones Program allows manufacturers and agro-processors to take advantage of favorable tax and duty incentives to produce for exports from Ghana into the EU and US markets. A rich cultural history and wonderful natural beauty makes Ghana a great tourist destination. The Year of Return Tourism and Marketing campaign in 2019 positioned Ghana as a key travel and investment destination for African Americans and people of the global diaspora. The year recorded significant increases in the number of visitors to Ghana. Ghana's growing consumer market is providing compelling reasons for investing in the services sector. The retail sector has been valued at $24.4 billion. A growing middle class with increasing purchasing power is creating demand for a wider variety of sophisticated services in healthcare, finance, and education. In the region, Ghana has one of the highest mobile penetration rates at 140%, with data penetration at 89%. The country has a thriving startup scene, helped by access to broadband internet that runs on fiber optic and 4G networks. The fintech industry is worth over $50 billion. Ghana is an English-speaking nation located in the center of the geographical world, with flight times from Europe or America averaging about 8 hours. Transportation networks in and out of the country have received enhancements in order to aid the ease of doing business. It has a new international airport terminal and an expanded port infrastructure. Tema Port is one of the largest in Africa, with a capacity to handle 3.5 million TEUs. The expansion in the economy is largely due to oil and gas development. Other sustainable sources of power, like solar, wind and thermal, will significantly increase the country's energy resources. We invite you to share in Ghana's optimism, be part of the incredible opportunities we offer, and be open to the idea to grow in Ghana and grow with Ghana.
Unlock banking with biometrics. Now you can access the ABSA mobile banking app using your fingerprint or facial recognition. Download today. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Welcome back to the e-commerce forum. We're discussing ways to engage our customers, and so far Richardson, who's the Chief Enablement Officer of Absa Bank Ghana, has helped us really understand ways to think about enablement before you even start your business, right? So how do you ensure that the customer acquisition strategy, how you're reaching out to engage your customers and growing your business are all tied into a growth mindset approach. And of course, Stephen Naasei Boadu, social media, and throw something out there looking for likes and comments, but find the people who are actually looking for your product and service, so that once they see what you're offering, they will click that buy button and give you the money that you're looking for the product and services that you're offering. And of course, Maximus walked us through ensuring that our offline experience is just as good as our online experience. So if someone comes to your shop and your product is 50 cedis, how do you ensure that that same product will be 50 cedis? If they come and the products are nicely positioned, how do you ensure that they get that same experience online? Now, Archie is going to walk us through a very big problem that a lot of entrepreneurs deal with, which is receiving payments. When I ran my online marketplace a couple of years ago, I found it so difficult to get payments with card in Ghana that I had to create an account in the US and connect that to my online marketplace. so that when the customer is buying a product, they know that security is good. If I don't give them the product, their banks will actually come and take the money out of my account and give it to them. And I also know that I'm covered if anything happens. So Archie is going to walk us through exactly how Gibbs helps all of the entrepreneurs find ways to receive payments. You know, if you're looking for mobile money, if you're looking to get card payments, if you're looking to even get remittances. Perhaps you have a business partner abroad, a lot of the money might be going there. You want to get the money back in Ghana. He'll walk us through all of that. Again, it's an interactive event. So if you have any questions for any of these really experienced guys, let us know with the hashtag Citi Business Festival, and the WhatsApp line is 0550585832. Later on, Frida, who's the founder of Kaime, will walk us through practical steps, how she took all these things and applied them to her business to position it to where it is today. If you've not heard of Kaime, you can look them up now so that when Frida is sharing her experience, you can find out ways you can apply some of the steps to grow all your own business. And Sam would also share with us how he's capitalized on this coronavirus season to really grow his delivery business. Archie, let me start with you. Receiving payments online, what are the options that we can get with Gibbs?
Thank you very much, Jifa, and good afternoon to your cherished listeners. I think I've been listening to your program in the last hour or so, and your panelist has actually done very good justice to the business of e-commerce. As most of them have already indicated, when it comes to e-commerce, it's nothing but the possibility of selling a product or a service in the internet space. Gone are the times when you and I would physically walk to markets and stores, etc. These days, you log on to any of the retailers, or if it's your child's school, and you whatever services is being offered, you can actually opt for it. It's priced, and then you come to a total. But once you come to the total and you have to make payment, that's where things become a bit tricky. So services are offered instantly, but when it comes to payment, most payments are not instant, i.e. the merchants do not receive their payments instant. We've seen of cases where products are then delivered and cash is given to couriers, and all sort of funny things happen. The first thing is this: if you have a merchant website, we have so many different types. One of your in creating a merchant website is one of the easiest things that most people can do. But when it comes to attaching a payment engine to it, it is very complex, because you need to ensure that whatever data is captured by your website is not exposed, i.e. it's not open for anybody to see it and clone it. My advice, the first advice I will give to any merchant who wants to embark on any serious e-commerce business, is to talk to your bank or a fintech company. These two entities are the entities that have been enabled to accept payments. These two entities are the entities that has been licensed by the central bank to consume all the various payment products that we offer at Gibbs. At Gibbs, we have one. If you want to make payments by card, the local card scheme is what we call the GH Link card scheme. We do have an e-commerce that we work with banks as well as fintechs. These e-commerce engines are linked to the various web services that are created by merchants. What it does is it connects the merchant's bank account to the website and also opens it up so that the merchant is able to receive funds from the GH Link cards, which are linked to your bank account safely. What typically happens is once you've typed in your PIN, the PIN would allow you to connect to your bank account. Then you want to make payments. Once you press the button for an amount to be paid, a second request would come to your phone. This is what we call the 3D secure. I don't want to go into the complexities of it. But this 3D secure would then give you a second PIN that you need to type in order for you to complete the transaction. If that telephone is not linked to your bank account and does not belong to you, you will not be able to receive that second PIN. This functionality is available to banks and fintechs. And that's why I said from the onset that the easiest way, after having developed your engine, please talk to your bank so that your bank can connect you. Lately, most payments are made using mobile money or funds from your bank account. Again, we have products like the Gibbs Instant Pay, either direct credit or direct debit, etc., various products. Now, what these products, again, are available to banks and fintechs. So if a merchant to bank A, once you have worked with your bank or a fintech company to connect to your website engine, you will then be able to receive all forms of payments, whether the customer is with the same bank as you or with different banks. Irrespective, or if the merchant is with a bank, however, the customer wants to use mobile money to make payments, because we have created a platform at Gibbs called interoperability. I'm sure it's a buzzword now in Ghana. It enables individuals as merchants and customers to be able to send and receive payments seamlessly, irrespective of whether you are with a mobile network or you are indeed working with a bank. So the simple message that I have when it comes to payments is please talk to your bank or a fintech company to ensure that the payment engine which is needed is connected to your website appropriately. I'm aware that lately on social media, you have individuals who sell one or two items using their social media space to collect individual payments. These are not on commercial basis, and I'm not going to discourage it. But once you want to move into the commercial to start doing serious business, there is a need for you to contact your bank or a fintech company who would enable and ensure that funds are collected safely.
Okay.
If there any issues with the payments, because they are regulated under the central bank, we know who they are, we know who has collected the money, and if there are any refunds or any issues, do have a whole dispute resolution program that we are able to track and trace if there are any perpetrations involved.
Thank you very much for that, Archie. And we have a lot of you guys on Zoom with us. If you can see us, just wave at us. We'll come to you to take some of your questions soon. And much later, pretty soon actually, we'll be hearing from Frida, we'll be hearing from Sam. And of course, okay, I see now you here. I see Wisdom. I see Ifwa. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Now, Abel, I have to come back to you because Archie just talked to us about seeing our banks when we start thinking about receiving payments. So what kinds of services? So I'm an e-commerce entrepreneur. I've built my online marketplace. I've built the back end. I'm ready to receive payments. What kind of conversations should I have with you to ensure that, one, the B2B aspect of my business, if I'm in a, let's say I'm Frida, I'm working with Jaime, and I receive raw materials from certain entrepreneurs, how would that payment relationship be different? Would that be different from me taking monies from my customers who want to buy my finished product?
Okay, thank you, Jifa. So I think, if I may start from the premise of our purpose as an organization, what we're trying to do, or what we're seeking to do, is to support our customers be better, to grow, to be successful. And in order to do that, we bring our resources, financial and other resources. We bring intellectual property, capacity, knowledge, experience to bear to connect with their needs and their dreams to try and make their goals tenable and make them happen. Now, if you look at the e-commerce conversation that we're having, there are a number of key tenets of that. We have pricing. I think both Stephen and Maximus pointed that out. We have pricing, we have contracting, we have payment, we have delivery, and then we have marketing. These elements together form the e-commerce conversation. And Archie alluded to the fact that payments is a key enabler or element of that. Yeah. Now, if you come to our organization, obviously, we will bring our expertise to bear in terms of financial advice, in terms of thought leadership, all the things that will help your business grow. You may start with having an account with us, or you may not, but we would prefer obviously that you do, because then that facilitates a lot of the journey. But where we can come into the fray from an e-commerce perspective, other than the contracting piece where we can give you certain advice, is the payments piece. Okay. So we're connected to everything that Archie alluded to. We're connected to Gibbs, we're connected to other players as well, fintechs and other players. And we're able to facilitate payments in many guises, whether it's mobile money payments to merchants, whether it's account to account. We're able to crisscross and deliver for you what you want. And because our organization is one that is founded on, good practice, effective controls, we do exactly what Archie alluded to as well, which is ensure that our customers are not susceptible to any fraud or any sort of security lapses, that will sour the whole conversation and sour their experiences as well. And for us going forward, experience really is the name of the game. Okay. Because what we realize is that a lot of, the payment ecosystem elements have become somewhat commoditized. And it's important that customers therefore get a good experience as they engage with us.
So as an e-commerce entrepreneur, what kind of experience would I have with you? Again, I'm thinking of if a customer buys my product, I delivered the product, they paid on my website, then they go to their bank to complain that it wasn't the exact product they wanted. So their bank now comes onto my platform and takes that money back to them. How do you handle such a situation where I now need my money back because I have proof that I delivered the product that they paid for?
Yeah, so I think it is not within the remit of a bank to sort of do this kind of reversal without going through the necessary processes, checks and balances to make sure that they're legit. So the fact that somebody has just come and complained about a payment does not necessarily automate or equate to us giving them their money back. There will be some engagement to try and understand what has happened, and we will refer to the regulatory elements that exist and whether or not these things are right for us to do. Our primary concern is to safeguard the interests of our customers, ensure that they continue to be on a growth trajectory, and therefore, that is how we will look at things at the outset.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we want to hear from Frida, who is the founder of Kaime. I am a big consumer of Kaime. She's going to walk us through how she applies some of these strategies as far as branding, storytelling, acquiring your customer, and as well as retaining your customer to position her brand from one that was just a local brand a few years ago to an international brand. Good morning, Frida.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
Can you hear me? I am doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Can you tell us practically how you combine some of the things we're talking about today to position Kaime into the brand that it is today? And tell us what Kaime is for the viewers who may not have heard of it.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Citi TV. Kaime is a Ghanaian cosmetic company that specializes in personal care products, and we specifically specialized in shea butter, black soap. We have African scent bags, as well as handmade soy candles. We've been in existence for about 4 years, and we're just kind of moving up and up, thankfully. There are a lot of things that we've done over the years. And of course, you start out not knowing what you're doing, and then you learn, with the key word here being learn. You keep learning and you keep doing your research and development to really try to find the best practices in the industry that you're in. But also, in terms of, since we're talking about e-commerce, Kaime started locally. We're still local. We serve our local customers, but we also find that we have international customers as well. And so that meant that we needed to get ourselves ready for these kind of transactions. And locally, of course, we do take cash, but we also do mobile money, whether it's Vodafone, MTN, or
all the other ones.
Yeah, we also do take Visa cards in Ghana as well. I guess the goal is to really make it easy for customers to pay in whatever currency or in whatever form of payment. I think I want to talk a little bit more about the international payments, since that's where a lot of our clients are now coming from, and that's where we really need to pay a lot of attention to.
Okay, go for it.
I know that one of our panelists talked about fraud and making sure your bank is really looking out for you and all of that. We've been quite fortunate with that, where our bank is looking out for us, but also the payment channel we currently use has been extremely, useful. They're on it. They'll contact you before you even realize there's a fraud going on online, and they will mitigate and prevent it before it even gets to you. But having said that, we've been through quite a lot of different payment channels. I won't mention any names here, but basically, you start out with something, it works, and then there's a glitch, you try to fix, it doesn't work, and then you move on to the next. So we've gone from using a local one to maybe working on a continental one, and then just switching back and forth. But what's key for us is that it's really, really important for our customers to get to our website and be able to have the payment options that they need.
Okay.
So for me, I try to put myself in the shoes of my customers. When a customer has browsed through your website, the goal is as soon as they get to your website, you need to have that action call, have them get what they need, quick, have them buy before they even realize they're buying that much, right? Without any glitches. So you have to be constantly there monitoring. So our website is made in such a way that as soon as you get there, the products are there, there's a shop now button there, the featured products, the best sellers, once you click on it, boom, boom, boom.
So the entire customer experience is also just as good as the process of paying, pretty much.
Oh my goodness, Jifa. I think we pride ourselves in customer service, and I think for those of you who have the chance to see our Google reviews, it's all about customer service, and we have 5 over 5, not because we actually bet people for these reviews, it's because people voluntarily want to give us reviews, because we really go above and beyond. It's really something that we believe in, that we really want every single customer to feel that they've been taken care of. If we're taking care of 100 customers, we want each customer to feel like they're the only customer that we're serving. And that's something that we've really mastered up to that point. And that goes from inception into completion. So the moment you go through, you click on www.kaime.com to when you receive your product, that customer experience is there. That customer service, you feel that one-on-one personal interaction.
Thank you very much. Really key. Thank you very much, Frida, for sharing that with us. And Stephen, I'll come to you to help us understand growing your customer experience, because it's easier to do that when you have 1 to 100 customers and you're zoning in on them. But when you get to a point of 500, 1,000, 2,000 customers, how do you still keep that relationship intimate enough that they will keep coming back to buy more products or take your services?
I like that. And the model I was talking about earlier, the last is what we call delight. Now, traditionally, often after you've closed the sale and you feel you've taken your money, closes, show me the money.
Yes.
We switch off. But with e-commerce, it doesn't work like that. Even the way the product is packaged and delivered is very, very important. I like a lot of what Frida said. So how is the package delivered? And even unboxing it should add excitement. You should look forward to receiving the product. Okay, so, but stepping back to your question, the more you know your customer, the better you're able to serve them.
Okay.
And that's why when you go onto some of these platforms, Frida just said it. They'll recommend some products for you. I mean, when I've been on their website and I love Carmen. You go to a very good e-commerce platform. What you will see when you land on the homepage will be different from what I see because of my browsing history. And that's part of knowing what you mentioned earlier, the customer experience, knowing the customer journey. So you need to really capture a lot of data and use that to be able to market to the people. So that's one part. What I see is very, very important. So that I'm not seeing products that I'm not interested in. If I'm seeing this product, for example, is in the right size. Let's say I wear a size 44. So you show me a size 38 shoe.
Okay.
Because I'm not interested in that at that point. These are all very, very important. And it comes from knowing the customer.
Okay.
The second part is,
I'll let you continue, but I want us to hear Sam's experience as well, because he's taken advantage of this entire COVID season to really take advantage of deliveries. So he'll share how he was able to grow his business in the delivery space with us. And if you have any questions about all the things we're discussing, let us know with the hashtag Citi Business Festival. And you can reach us directly through our WhatsApp line 0550 585832. If you're outside Ghana and you still want to contribute to the conversation, use the country code +233. Good morning, Sam.
Hi, Jifa. Good morning, and good morning to our viewers.
How are you?
I'm good. And you? The discussion has been great so far. And when
Frida
said that, I mean, she scores 5 over 5 on her reviews, then I'm like, and then when it gets to the point of delivering the product to the customer, are you going to let this 5 over 5 rating go mad? Or you are the delivery person, you are going to keep that rating? I believe that having put in all the steps and you have the sale online, without an efficient delivery system, there's nothing like e-commerce. E-commerce will not thrive if we don't have a strong logistics support network in the system to support it. And for us as at Veritas Delivery Service, we know that we are supposed to ensure customer satisfaction. We are supposed to ensure repeat customer for our clients and also to win new customers for our clients. So the role of delivery is very crucial in the e-commerce conversation. And I would like to touch on a few things. That the regulatory framework is critical for us here, where because now everybody sees that e-commerce is the in thing, everybody is going into it. But there is the Postal and Courier Regulatory Commission, which is supposed to be licensing courier businesses. And I see a lot of lapses in that environment. So whether you are licensed or not, people are rolling. We think that it is time for us to build capacity in the area of the logistics support. Partnerships are critical for us. We have partnered Speed Africa in order to be able to reach nationwide, to serve our customers across the country by deploying the range of the fleet, trucks, vans, tricycles, bikes, and be able to serve the customers across the country. So it is getting to a point where capacity is critical if you will be able to serve your customers. However, if you are not meeting your regulatory requirements, it becomes difficult to run. So getting your license, your insurances for not just the fleet, but for the goods that you are carrying, your riders and drivers licenses, your roadworthy and all of that. So this regulatory framework is what we operate in as courier businesses. However, over the years, I have realized that we have hitches, assuming that I have picked up blood samples from a hospital in Tema to deliver to a laboratory for testing to be done. And then I get to a point and the police says they are doing operations, so they stop all motorbikes. Having stopped all motorbikes, it doesn't matter what you are carrying, however sensitive it is. When it's an operation, it is not a question of whether you have your licenses, insurance or anything. You will be parked and 2-3 hours you are going through police structures and all, and sometimes I believe it becomes very frustrating.
So, Sam, given all these frustrations, and not to cut you off, given all these frustrations, how do you ensure that the customer will get the same experience they got when they bought the product from the website? So I go on to Frida's site, I buy her product, I got really great customer service from her. Now I'm expecting you to deliver that product to my door. You don't work for Kaime, you are working for your own business, but you are working with her, business to business type of relationship. How do you ensure that all these frustrations will not interfere with my customer experience when I receive the final product from you?
Excellent. And that is the goal, how to navigate all of these issues. First and foremost, make sure that you have satisfied all your regulatory requirements. And two, we are practicing the last mile zoning to make sure that we are zoning parcels according to areas so that quickly a dispatch rider is able to serve. What we try to do is giving customers up-to-date information. I mean, apart from our delivery management system giving updates to customers, the rider is providing feedback to customers. So we are trying to give the customer the time frame within which they will receive their parcel. So if I pick up from Kaime and I process in my system, the customer receives an SMS from me that says that rider A is delivering your parcel from Kaime and should get to you within the next 30 minutes, the next hour. Now, that rider will have to call you and let you know that he is on his way. And before he gets to you, confirm that you are at location. So as much as possible, we have a backup plan. For example, if there is an accident on the way, there should be a rider on hand to go and relieve that rider. If there is a police operation that you are held, there should be a rider on hand to quickly go and relieve that rider and take that parcel and deliver to the customer. So for us, there is no excuse. I mean, we have had customers whose expectation of delivery success rate is like 100%. Even if you do 95% delivery success rate, it will not wash.
Thank you.
And that is a drive.
Thank you very much, Sam, for sharing your story with us. And Maximus, I'm going to come to you. We are learning now that e-commerce is way more complex than we probably thought. So before you start out, you're thinking about, branding, you're thinking about customer service. Are you going to blog? Are you going to do videos? How are you going to acquire that customer? Once you get that customer, your online space, we're going to move them from the social media space onto your actual store where they will buy the products. What kinds of payment platforms should you work with? How do you ensure that, keeping in mind how you are engaging your customers? As a business owner, how do you put all these things into place? What kind of bank should I bank with? What kind of delivery service should I work with? What kind of, online social media space should I be in? So that at the end of the day, when you get that one payment from that customer, you don't have to go through the whole thing again. They are so satisfied that they just pay and they are ready to buy again from you the next time. I think your thing is still on mute.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Now we can hear you.
Yes. So, right. So sorry.
It's okay.
And Mr. Hesse has mentioned that, you see, as a business, if you want to commercialize your process or your e-commerce, you have to deal with the banks. You have to deal with the certified fintech companies, so that there's a flow of your payments from the person buying it straight into your bank account or to your merchant account on the phone. So you can track the receipts of all the payments. It becomes very seamless and very easy. Now, for the various platforms, what is going to happen? Like Facebook just launched the Facebook shops. They want to build a seamless, electronic commerce process where you can buy on Instagram, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, from any of the platforms, right? So small businesses can just create an online presence on the social media platform and then it's linked to, normally you have your ads manager account, which is linked to your card, right? Now, transactions on those platforms, sure, when Facebook wants to optimize all that, they have to deal with gifts and make sure a local fintech company so that they become the partner here. So if somebody in Ghana wants to buy on Facebook, they can easily do that and then go straight into a bank account or go straight through maybe a payment gateway, and then you receive your payment instantly. Now, what I'm foreseeing is that the web platform is going to lose competition to the social media platforms. Now, attention is the intrinsic value when it comes to e-commerce platforms. People are now spending most of their media time on social media, and the last time I checked, about 33% of online media time is spent on social media, meaning that people are spending billions of minutes on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Instagram. It means that when your business is there, there's no need to migrate them onto the your web interface. Even though for a business, I would recommend that you have a web interface, which is your real estate on the internet. If Facebook decides to close down tomorrow or Instagram decides to shut down for a week, you have an online platform to fall on. But the integration, the aggregation, how you're able to give that similar service to your customers is very important. If you pull me to a website with a deal, I'm most likely to go onto that website. And of course, I have to check for all the signals in terms of verification. Is your website, does it have an SSL? Is my payment transaction secured on that platform? Will you move me to another third-party platform to complete my checkout? You know, all these red flags. Those are the things that customers look out for. If I click on the product from your social media page, will it take me to the product landing page on your website? So I can just do 2-3 clicks and then that checkout, and then delivery is guaranteed. I'm going to receive my product within 24 hours.
Thank you very much.
When the automation is done, yes.
Oh, please wrap up.
So when the automation is done, it becomes easier. So we must learn how we can merge user experience, available technology, and of course, be able to achieve the objectives that you've set to yourself as a business.
Thank you very much. And I have a question here that I think is probably for Archie. This is coming from Prince G. He says, Citi Business Festival, payment is a big challenge in the e-commerce business venture, especially in Ghana. The banks aren't helping, and as a single person website, you cannot do it alone. You need license, and the license requires you to have an amount before you will be granted the relevant services. So Archie, do you want to touch on this a bit? People are still struggling to receive payments online, and it has to do with licenses that the entrepreneurs must have.
Yes, thank you very much, Jifa. In response to some of the challenges that some merchants and indeed some of the individuals in the country might face, the central bank have it was in that respect that the central bank set up a fintech and innovation department to look solely into these areas. When it comes to the development of the e-commerce area, it's very clear worldwide that is the fintechs that are the entity that really drives it with the support of a bank, rather than a bank driving it with the support of a fintech. It's mainly an IT service area. If you do not have a thriving fintech environment within your country, the pace at which you develop will be slowed down or will slow down. And therefore, I applaud the central bank for having the foresight to set up the fintech and innovation departments to look exclusively at these areas. We've had a number of engagements already with the Ghana Chamber, FinTech Chamber, as well as the banks, as well as the mobile money companies, on how we are all going to work together to fast track the development of the FinTech Chamber within for the country. The e-commerce, as you've heard from Maximus, Bo, and Stephen, is a huge. The ecosystem is huge. It starts from even the website creation of the website. Lately, now, after it has been created, there is a need for you to have artificial intelligence also linked to it. This is another whole area that the fintech, the new department will be looking at. There was a question that a customer asked earlier, that if I make a purchase online and there's an issue with the purchase, who do I go to? Do I call the website, or do I go to the bank that is linked to the website? These are all areas that the fintech department will have to look at, indeed, and as quickly as possible, to pave way for the e-commerce to thrive in the country. So I'm very confident that with the invent of the fintech company, within 6 months or so, we'll start seeing a lot of traction in the country.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go for a quick break. This is still the e-commerce part of the Citi Business Festival. We are talking about how to engage your customers. If you have any questions or contributions to the conversation, let us know with the hashtag Citi Business Festival. And if you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana and you also want to contribute to the conversation, just use the country code +233 and we will receive them directly. I have some messages from you, but before that, if you're looking for a place where you can check your balance, you can transfer payments as well as shop online, then the Absa Bank mobile app is the right app for you. You don't have to walk to one place, check your balance, go to another platform to transfer money, and go to another platform to shop online. You can just go to the Absa Bank mobile app, and then you can get all of that in one place. We're now going to hear from Naasei. She's been in the e-commerce space for years. Now we're talking about all the things you should do. Naasei will walk us through all the things that you should not do if you want to remain relevant, because over the years you hear of a company come up, their products are all over the place, their services are all over the place, and then they die down. No one knows what happened to them. So Naasei will share 3 things that we should not do as entrepreneurs if we want our businesses to survive in this e-commerce space. Good morning, Naasei.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
Hi everyone. I'm doing very well.
Things we should avoid doing if we want to continue to stay relevant in the e-commerce space.
Well, having been in the e-commerce space for quite some time, what I've noticed over a period of time is the issue of trust. So we are trying to, we need to bridge that gap, that trust gap between online customers and then you as an e-commerce entrepreneur or merchant, right? And what you want to do is you want to make sure that customers, first of all, they are getting their products or whatever it is they're buying from you on time, right? You are not going to overpromise and say that, oh, you get it within the next hour, and then fail on that promise, and the customer is chasing you and you're not responding. There's a lot of complaint regarding that, like, oh, now I'm calling the merchants, they are not picking their phones, and now they've switched off their phones, That really creates a huge major problem for you as a starter when you're getting into the e-commerce space. It really creates a huge problem because already there's that lack of trust, okay? And what you must also be aware of, or what you should ensure, is whatever you're uploading to your website or to your social media platforms is what you're actually selling. You don't want to put up a product that is blue, and then by somehow it shows up as red, or you have a red flask that you're selling, but then you say that, it's blue or it's green, or you go and say that online, you say that, it's a gray color. Just be honest with what you're putting up. Don't put up fake product. There's so much of that in the system right now where, people see dresses, they see shoes, and they actually buy, they go through the whole purchasing process only for them to get something totally different, So you have to be able to, close that trust gap and ensure that whatever you're uploading is what it is. You're taking quality photos or videos and making sure that the customer is getting it on time and they're getting what they've actually ordered for.
Okay.
Another thing you should also ensure is the information that you put, whether in your bio on social media or Instagram, is actually updated or it is what it is. Okay. So, for example, we have people who put up phone numbers or email addresses. They don't even check the email addresses, for example. And the customers are trying to reach you and you are not responding. So you have to always make sure that your contact information is always updated. Your address is always updated. Every information you put up there, your product description as well must also be exactly as the product itself.
Thank you.
So always ensure that all the necessary details are updated.
Thank you very much, Naoyo, for sharing those 3 key points with us. Abel, I will come to you now. When it comes to e-commerce, we're talking about you're physically in Ghana, but you're supplying your product and services to people all over the world. And we know the perception people have of Africa. And as unfortunate as it is, you have a customer reach out to you from the US or UK and think that you're trying to defraud them. So one of the ways an e-commerce entrepreneur can, tell them that I'm not defrauding you is, leveraging on the reputation that their banks have. If I'm a customer, I'm your customer at ABSA, and I have such an issue, how would you help me communicate to my clients all over the world that I'm not a 419 Yahoo boy. I'm actually a legit person. I'm working with an actual ABSA bank, and your payments will be fine with me?
So I think, first of all, I think it's important to underscore what Na just shared with us, because every entity's own credibility, I would say, is 50% of the requirement, right? So what credibility have you built yourself in the ways that you go to market, in the ways that you engage with your customers? So that's, that should be a given. That's one thing. Now, in terms of reliance on an organization like ABSA, a bank like ABSA, I think, first of all, we want to work with those upwardly mobile, whether SMEs, corporates, or even individuals. We want to work with them and we want to support them to grow. Now, because of our own credibility, you can sort of leverage on top of that. We make sure that payments, do go through. We are highly liquid. We have, assets, untold assets, and therefore there is an international reputation and credibility that we bring to bear. And if you ride on us, then essentially it's a kind of a calling card to say, you can trust these people. Earlier on, I mentioned about our approach. Our approach is both to make sure that we are serving and that we are helping to grow, but also that we are safe and secure. Security is very important to us. And because of those sort of tenets and that reputation that we've built over time, we're able to help you, take that into the conversations that you are having with external or international clientele, as you said. And for us, I think that's very important.
Okay, thank you very much. Stephen, I want to ask you about this. We have this plantain chip mindset when it comes to brick and mortar shops. Then what I mean is, let's say you're seeing a church, the plantain chip seller comes to sell you her 1 cedi plantain. There's a 50% chance that the oil is terrible and a 50% chance that the oil is good. You buy it. If it's not good, you count your losses. You don't see her again. So sometimes entrepreneurs make that mistake of, doing that online. You deceive the customer because you're so obsessed with making that one sale without necessarily understanding that you're going to spend more money getting that customer to make that one payment. So you need to ensure that whatever it is you're saying you're offering, whatever product or service you're offering, will be that one, so you don't spend as much getting them back. Because if you're in a church, you don't really spend much to just get the passenger to buy your plantain chips. But when you're online, you walk us through going on social media, targeted marketing. Now you just talked about product descriptions, ensuring that the product is positioned well. So you're going through all of this, and then the customer gets the product, they are not satisfied. Walk us through how important it is to have customer retention in mind even before we acquire that one customer.
I think it's super important, and I'm glad you mentioned this. Now you mentioned something. The experience includes the usage experience, or when you receive the product, how you appreciate it. Well, the truth is, a good e-commerce business is built on repeat business, and also knowing your customers, so you'll be able to sell more to them. All that. We love Kaime because of the stories we've heard about Kaime. We know Kaime from
way back,
from diaspora. But we hear the stories about how she started with shooting, so you want to associate with that story. Even big organizations do that. In Nigeria, where I worked a lot, Konga was seen as more local, and the people loved it because of the affinity people had with the business, not junior.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's important that you build a relationship. Your own Jonas did a piece, I think just before Christmas, which he featured me on. It's important. One of the things Naasei said, simple things like even responding to customer prospect questions during the process. Though all those things go to establish you as a legit business. So you don't upload your product and then you go to sleep. It suggests that you are not actively really, it's not a shop open. But once you put them on, it's a shop that you're saying is open. So that's important. It's part of the experience. Number two, also making sure that, for example, when the people receive the products, you call them. You follow up to see, have you received it? I mean, how is it? All those things add to the experience, and that will make them come back. Unlike the plantain chip seller who thinks, well, he'll wait when the truck is moving, then they'll give it to you and take their money. But they know you will never see them again at that spot. No, that mindset won't work.
Okay.
We need to remember that the same way that people expect to walk back into a shop and have a good experience, a physical store, they want to come on and have a good experience, even a better experience. Online should give us the convenience and even a better experience.
Okay.
So it's not some mystery.
Thank you very much for that, Stephen. Maximus, I'm coming to you now. I hope you unmute your mic this time. So we're talking about e-commerce, and when I started out, we had Shopify, we had Squarespace. They came with apps to help the merchant. So if you're talking about customer service, I don't have to physically sit there and talk to every single customer. There's an app you can buy, embed on the back end of your website that will handle that for you. When it comes to customer habits, what are the things that the specific customers are looking for? There's an app you can get. In Ghana, we don't have a lot of those apps yet. What are the opportunities within the e-commerce supply chain that some of our viewers, watching and joining us are looking for that they can capitalize on now, as far as serving the merchant themselves so that they can better serve the customer? We've already talked to the delivery service guy, but what other opportunities can we also pick up now?
Yeah, I think with the platform development is also very important. Those who build the e-commerce platforms, the website designers, the security people, and there's even platform analysts, those who analyze even user experience, how a button is placed, what is the anchor links, that's in the links you click, product description, even photography, how product shots are taken and even treated for the online platforms. Another opportunity is also write copies, right? Those who write the product and then describe it in a language that we sell. I usually say that when you're selling on the internet, you write marketing language, not just English language. That's an opportunity for people who are good at writing, who are good at writing copies for product. Now, we've talked about the delivery people already. But the other thing is those who build the AI, as Mr. Hesse said. Now, the AI, they are becoming like your virtual sales and marketing people. Anytime there's a user who comes onto your platform, even on social media or website, the AI is able to analyze those people and follow them through their online journey, the digital footprints and all that. So when they move to another platform, your product even follows them in form of adverts or a post on social media. So the likes of Facebook, they have Facebook Pixel. You go to a website like Kaimi, and if you have a Facebook Pixel, if you go on the Facebook, any post from Kaimi will follow you also there. So those are the things that we need the AI developers to also do that too as well. Now, we need people to also train the business owners to understand the processes in marketing and sales, and then customer service. How do you make sure that if somebody makes an inquiry on WhatsApp, how do you document it? How do you follow up? What processes do you go through there so that the guy at the other end know that, hey, Kaime is delivering the product on time and she was nice on phone, and then the courier people follow, deliver on time, and then they sign a document to show that, hey, I delivered this product at this time, and then the guy was nice to us. The training of the manager of the platform, the delivery process, the courier person, and making sure that whatever they are seeing online is what the person is getting. Now, how your money is also managed is also very important. So the banks, the ABSA and co need to train people who have online presence as to how they can manage their money very well, how they can fight fraud, and make sure that a buyer experience, it doesn't trigger a negative sentiment or experience, which will also result in they losing their business. So companies, banks must do that, educate the buyer and also the sellers too as well. So these are some of the bands of opportunity I would like.
Thank you very much. So my next question, I think I'll go to Ebo, but then Archie can also, touch on this a bit. And it's a question from a viewer, Norbert. He says he has a two-sided marketplace. So one, the website has many sellers. So they come on there to sell, but then he also has the buyers. So your customers are coming to buy from you to pay you, but then you also have people on your platform who are selling that you need to pay. How do you navigate those two payment relationships?
Okay, so thank you, Jifra. I think, and Archie, I'm sure, will build on this, but I think it's really around the integration that you will have, and integration not just in technical terms, but also in terms of understanding that you would have with whoever your payment services backend is. And as Archie said, more often than not, you would prefer that to be either a bank or a licensed fintech. Now, they create the platform, and I think given the opportunity, I'll talk more about platforms.
Please, go for it.
But they create a platform which then allows the exchange to happen in a governed and more effective way. Okay. So if the gentleman, I don't know if it's a gentleman or a lady, Norbert wants to enable this, then they have to have the right conversations with the right service provider to build that platform to facilitate that exchange. Now, in terms of platforms, Shifra, if you look at the last 2 decades, I think it's really been characterized by platforms, right? Amazon's incredible success is based on a platform. Google's incredible success is based on a platform. So with Apple, and so on and so forth. These last 2 decades have been characterized by platforms. And what we've been doing here in Ghana, as I alluded to earlier on at the outset, is building the platform. Now, our platform has to mature. It's not quite there yet. It has to mature. But as it starts to mature, then the capabilities that we want our entrepreneurs and our SMEs, etc., to have will be readily available. And then they have to start thinking about more interesting things or more value-add things, if I can use that terminology rather, in terms of the customer experiences. And we've heard a lot here today, which are all pertinent, all relevant. Customer experience, knowing your customer, getting the right data points to be able to do targeted marketing. Those are the things that will shape the experience coming once we have made sure that the maturity of this foundation that we've built is really at the level that we need.
Thank you very much for that. I'll let Archie speak, but I'll go for a quick break. We're still discussing e-commerce, how to keep your customers engaged. If you have any questions or comments, let us know with the hashtag Citi Business Festival. If you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana and you still want to contribute to the conversation, please use the country code +233. We'll be right back.
COVID-19 has changed the world. But despite the challenges we face, the spirit of Africanacity is still alive. It's in the tenacity of the men and women who are still keeping us safe and keeping us going. It's in the creativity you use to find new ways to work, teach, do it all, and stay together, even if you're apart. And it's in the ingenuity of all those who are making a difference. Thank you to everyone still getting things done. Your Africanity inspires us.
The moms and dads out there, we are bringing school to the radio. Parents, the Ministry of Education, the Ghana Education Service, GBC and USAID are starting an exciting new radio education program to help your child to continue learning to read at home. It is the Ghana Learning Radio, the reading program. Beginning 15th June 2020, some of your favorite primary school teachers will take you and your child through exciting, interactive and easy to follow radio lessons that will contain stories, interactive games, riddles, and humorous characters. We are planning 2 sessions of reading for B1 to B3 for your child from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, with repeats on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 4 to 5 p.m. Think of it as school on the radio during this outbreak of COVID-19. Stay safe and get ready for a whole new way of learning. Tune into the fun June 15, 10:30 a.m. on all GBC radio channels nationwide. We will be waiting for you. Learn to read, read to learn. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education, GES, GBC, and USAID.
Welcome back. It's still the Citi Business Festival. It's an interactive event. So if you have any questions, let us know with the hashtag Citi Business Festival. If you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. And of course, this festival has been made possible with the help of APSA and GIPC. And the Ghana Investment Promotion Center wishes to inform its cherished stakeholders and clients of its continued services, including the new registrations, company renewals, exemption processing, automatic expatriate quota applications, and technology transfer agreement applications. For further information, kindly contact pr@gipc.gov.gh or our social media handles at Ghana GIPC on Facebook and at GIPC Ghana on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, if you're looking for a mobile banking app that will enable you to check your balances, pay bills, transfer money, and shop online, then the APSA Bank mobile app is the option for you. Take out your iOS or your Samsung device, go on the App Store, download it, and it will make your online shopping experience better. We still have our panel with us. Before the break, I did say that we'll talk to Archie, who's the CEO of Gibbs, about all things payment, because a lot of entrepreneurs still struggle. When you go outside Ghana, a lot of countries have actually gone cashless. So if you have a cash, if you're carrying cash, some stores will actually turn you away that we don't take cash, pay with your card. How do we get Ghana to that point where we are receiving monies, not through cash, especially in these times of COVID-19 where we don't want to be touching cash? So, Archie, can you walk us through how this whole system will be easier on the entrepreneur and we won't have to pay fees and all these things, so that at the end of the day, if someone comes to Steven's shop, they get the product for 50 cedis, they come buy it on my online marketplace, I'm charging 70 cedis because the regulators are, trying to squeeze me here and there because they think the fintech guys are just enjoying life.
If I don't know, I'm not paying fees, but maybe if I... Yes, that's fine. I think, Jifa, we've spoken about the whole e-commerce business is about sellers selling something and receiving payment for their products and services that they have offered. If I heard the questioner properly, the question was, what about buyers? So this is the case. On one hand, I was a seller. So individuals were coming for my products and services, but these products, I bought them from somewhere. So I now become the buyer, buying it from another entity. I think Ebo alluded to the fact that you need to talk to your service provider again to enable you, and the payment service provider could be a bank or a fintech. But just to touch on a couple of platforms that we offer at GIBS that supports the payment service providers. We have a product which we call the ACH Direct Credit. And this is a digitized batched form of payment where corporates can be enabled such that if they have about maybe 100 customers that they need, or manufacturers or wholesalers that they need to pay, they can batch all these transactions, and presumably if they have or a bank, they can secure what the ACH Direct Credit will do the buyer's account and then credit all the various businesses and beneficiaries through the bank. The bank send all the transactions to GIBS, and we would then disperse it to the various beneficiaries. And this platform is what we call the ACH Direct Credit. It's good for bulk batched payments. Alternatively, we also have the instant payment. That's the GIBS Instant Pay. Again, you have a relationship with a payment service provider. You'll be enabled such that you are able to debit your account and then credit the beneficiary. The same functionality can be used for funds that reside in a bank and also funds that reside in a mobile wallet. We launched the QR code recently, sometime around a month or two ago. What the QR code is going to afford is it will enable both buyers and sellers to have the mechanism where, after having selected a payment, an item, there could be a black and white squares QR code linked to the product, and that particular product, the QR code or the bar, could be visible on the screen or the PC that you are using, or the telephone that you are using, and you can then scan it. Once you have scanned it, the scanning mechanism now gives you the possibility of debiting your account and then crediting the merchant or the buyer. So the QR code now acts like a POS, a point of sale, that collects all the funds from the customer's account, whether it's a mobile account or it's a bank account, and then credits the merchant's account. I can see that between now and the end of this year, most merchants will start gravitating towards the use of the QR code because it's an easier way to pay than what we currently have.
Thank you very much. So now we will take some of the questions from our audience who have been with us from the very beginning on Zoom. And if you have a question for a specific person, you can just say Ebo, you can say Steven, you can say Archie, or you can say Maximus, and then they will take the question. So I'll start with you. Please introduce yourself and who you want to direct your question to.
Hello.
Samuel.
Hello.
Yeah, Sam, we hear you.
Hi, this is Samuel Bartels. It's a very good opportunity to listen to all of you, and it's a lot of knowledge. I just realized that one of the things that, and maybe I'm biased because I'm a lawyer, I think one of the biggest challenges for most entrepreneurs is not understanding the legal and regulatory environment in which they operate. And so, having omitted it, I would want to ask, any of you can take it, how much emphasis people should put on that? Because just to give a context, once you go online, you have to worry about the different jurisdictions in which you might end up trading in, the people who are buying from you, which jurisdictions they are, and what applies. You have to worry about petty legal issues like cancellation, returns, privacy, because you are collecting payment details and other things that you have to store. So you have to worry about the cybersecurity and the liabilities that come out of that. But I haven't seen any of it come out. So is that to say that from your perspective, that's not really a key thing for any e-commerce platform entrepreneur to consider?
Okay.
How high do you rank that?
Thank you very much. Who would like to take that?
Well, I'll kick off. I know
Okay.
Stephen's waiting to step in as well. So I think I don't know when Samuel joined, but in my introduction, I highlighted what I felt were the key elements that drive e-commerce. I mentioned the technology aspect, I mentioned the political, the social, the economic. And within the political sphere, I highlighted the criticality of regulatory frameworks and the elements that govern what we are able to do and what we're not able to do. And, just to directly answer his question, it's as important as anything, because if you fall foul of any of these legal and regulatory requirements, then, potentially your business is at risk. So it's as important as any of the other elements that we would mention. And it's important that any entrepreneur has working knowledge of these sort of requirements, and if they feel that they're not up to the level that that they need, then they should get some expertise. They should buy in some expertise, some advice around that. If you take financial services, for instance, one of the things that we have to be particularly mindful of is what we call, or what the regulators call, anti-money laundering legislation. And it's designed to ensure that people don't transfer money cross-border internationally to finance, dubious sort of elements, deals or terrorism or anything like that. It's designed to do that. As a consequence, if we are going to facilitate any cross-border transactions, we have to make sure that these things are being complied with. Otherwise, we ourselves might fall foul of the law. So I think, to his point, it's very important. And I think every entrepreneur, SME, even large corporates need to be mindful of them as they transact online.
Thank you very much. Isaac Amma, good afternoon.
Yes.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Yes, I hear you.
Yes. Keep up with the good work, Citi TV.
Thank you so much. Your question, please.
Yes. My question is, as entrepreneurs, how can we able to make our buyers have the trust in us that in doing business online, it is secure, it is safe?
Thank you. And for the rest of our Zoom audience, if you want us to get you to contribute, just raise your hand. If you have a question, just raise your hand so that we'll pick you next, and then you ask your question. So who wants to take that question?
I'll start.
Okay, go for it.
I think the important thing is to make sure that you're doing legit business. Okay. Now, you said earlier, also make sure that you're selling the right product. What you promise is what you deliver. So you don't promote one thing and when it's delivered, it's another thing. There's a bit I think Sam also mentioned. Yes, your courier is an independent organization. Once you have a relationship with them, manage them so that you need to have some type of reference that they deliver to. I think it's important. I just want to chip in something that Sam asked earlier.
Okay, briefly.
We need to have the right regulatory environment.
Okay.
These things happen often, and where we are now, it looks like the players are ahead of the regulators. That means that we also need to have some self-regulation ourselves. Otherwise, we would be caught very, very soon. The fact that we don't have the regulations in place now doesn't mean that you can operate anyhow, do whatever you want. Do good business, and when the regulations come in, you wouldn't be found wanting.
Thank you very much. Ronald, good afternoon. Thank you so much for staying with us.
Good afternoon.
Your question,
yes,
please.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Ronald. So, I don't know if... Okay, my name is Ronald, and my question is around the payment systems. the payment system. The problem is within the last month, I had a couple of problems with my payment platforms in terms of how transactions are being transacted online. And for instance, when customers are using mobile money, previously they used to get a single prompt, and then they get to pay their product when they go through the process of to go to the website. And for me, that converts better. But within a couple of weeks, I got a message from my payment system telling me now they have changed it. So now customers have to now dial star 170 and go through a whole process. And looking at my statistics in terms of Google Analytics, customers always tend to drop off. So I get a lot of customers dropping off when they have to go through that process. That process has made me lose a lot of customers in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so...
And I'm to the marketing as well.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, in terms of the market of e-commerce products, when we are looking at the particular niche, when it comes to the marketing, are we going to focus on SEOs, or we are going to focus on running ads? Or we are just going to focus on producing content for customers to see? Because in terms of all these three particular processes I've mentioned, it takes time. For instance,
what's the stage of your business right now, though?
I couldn't hear you.
What's the stage of your business currently?
Currently, we are working fine. In terms of, please explain.
Are you a small business, micro business, medium business? What's the size and what stage are you in?
Yes. Currently, we are still small.
You are very small, so a micro-sized business.
Our sales are picking up.
Okay.
We have a particular time where sales go really up.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. So I think I'll throw the first question to Archie as far as ensuring that the payment experience is not so frustrating that entrepreneurs are actually losing customers because they want them to pay online. And then the second question to Maximus, how do we ensure that, in our customer acquisition, activities, do we do search engine optimization? Do we pay for Google Ads? What exactly should we do if we're a small scale business and we're trying to get customers to come pay for our products and services? Archie, you can go first.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before I answer your question, there was an earlier question with regards to returns and dispute resolutions, as in what is the current legal framework that governs the e-commerce business. There is one. When you buy things using the point of sale with a card in Ghana, the scheme actually spells out exactly what should happen if or when there is a dispute. Equally, there are laid down guidelines that exist that I would encourage everyone to familiarize themselves with it. In those guidelines, it tells you clearly what you should do. If you are working with a service provider, either a bank or a payment service provider, that's a certified one, they presumably within the agreements that they have with you might contain some of the agreements that has been devised by the central bank. The central bank is continuously looking at ways to improve upon these guidelines. But we do have guidelines that governs what happens if product is not right, if the payment ends up in the wrong account. There is a whole department that can be used or that you can use to address these issues.
Okay, now how do we answer the issues of frustrating our customers because we want them to pay online?
That's right. So the takeaway from the first is that there's a need for continue educating the users within the country. Now, when it comes to frustration, if I hear the customer very well, the payment mode or the way of payments are done changes. What we've realized is that a number of individuals or smaller firms are using private payment service providers that we are not used to or hasn't been licensed or certified. It's in that regard why the central bank since last year have decided to come up with a framework that categorizes all the PSPs, that's the payment service providers, into 3 categories. So if what my recommendation would be to ensure that any service provider, as a merchant, any service provider that you use, please ensure that it's a certified merchant provider. In the absence of that, you might use one that's what we call a third party, riding on either a bank's customer or a fintech. And we don't have any control on how their systems work.
Thank you very much.
They have some ways of doing it. So let's try and use the legitimate entities when it comes to payments.
Okay, Maximus, in less than 1 minute, should small businesses consider search engine optimizations, Google Ads? What should they be doing to get customers?
I think you need to know where your customers are. If most of them browse the internet, read news and all that, means that search engine marketing is your go-to place to at least show your product to them, the features and then the pricing. If most of them are on social media, then you need to invest money in advertising on social media platforms so you can reach out to them.
Thank you very much. Wisdom, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. What's your question?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be a part of this session.
We're so grateful you could be with us.
Hello?
Yes, what's your question, please?
All right. I'm now moving into the e-commerce business, and one of the things I've encountered, actually, one of the facilitators said that if you are doing it on social media, doesn't really mean you are into serious business. But some of us that are yet starting, that is what we are relying on currently. And my question is that I posted some of my products on social media, and then people showed interest that they want to buy. What I have to do is that it's either that they pay in installments or they give out payments and pay in full later on. So my question is that for someone that is yet moving into the e-commerce business and then encountering customers with this kind of way of payment, what kind of advice do you have for me?
Okay, thank you very much. I think, Stephen, and I don't think anyone said if you are on social media, you are not doing good business. You're actually doing e-commerce if you're selling on social media.
I think Maximus said, and to clarify, what he meant was that your own website gives you your own real estate.
Because you have that data you need to grow your business.
Yeah. If Facebook wakes up tomorrow morning and they shut down, you've lost everything. So that's what he meant. So we've clarified that one. To answer your question, I think when you're doing it on a small scale like that, it's difficult to manage payment in installments and all of that. That was his question.
Yes.
It's difficult to do that because you're doing it on a small scale, and there are a lot of quack people out there who will call you, have all sorts of issues. My advice is that always insist on payment at the door.
Okay.
So once your product is delivered, they look at it, it's exactly what they wanted, they send you the payment, and your courier hands it over.
Thank you.
Big businesses like Konga, that's how they built it. Insist on that one.
Thank you very much. Thank you as well. I hope you got what you need. So we're going to wrap this up. I'll start with you, Abel, your closing remarks for us, and then we'll go to Stephen, Archie, and then Maximus.
Thank you again,
And
Jifa.
30 seconds each.
Sure. So for me, I think we've begun a journey that is important for our socio-economy, for this country as a whole. And I think the platform that will drive it is being built. It has to mature, as I said earlier on. I think now what we need to look at is things like, customer value proposition. What do you offer? Is it really what customers want or need? And the experience that you give them. I think those conversations and the quality of integrations and the quality of interactions between all the players is what would determine success or otherwise.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Just speaking as a marketing person, I'll say that the most important thing for businesses to know is to keep learning about their customers. When they understand their customers, they will know the products that are needed, be able to tell the right stories about the products, and also always remember that the journey doesn't end after they've paid you. The usage experience is very, very important. That's what brings you return business. And manage the whole process like a cycle. If you do that, you'll be in business.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Archie.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the ingredients needed for e-commerce to mushroom or grow, we have it in Ghana. I've seen and experienced a lot of websites where they are enriching it to include AI, where they are learning about the customers.
Yeah.
When it comes to payment, yes, all the payment systems, the banks are now poised, the fintechs are now also poised to support industries. Delivery is now also on the increase in Ghana. The dispute resolution and the legal frameworks that governs returns, etc., is also increasing. But I have to place a lot of caution that those individuals who are doing it on one-off basis and still using their social media to perform a quasi e-commerce should be a bit careful. We've heard of a few nasty experiences where individuals have been interested in the products and they themselves have delivered it and have actually lost everything instead. Either the goods have been taken away from them and nasty things have happened to them. So they should be very careful and ensure that you use formalized means when if you want to sell or buy things on the net.
Thank you very much. And finally, Maximus.
I think e-commerce is the future, and for people or business who wants to go onto the e-commerce platform, they must consult the right people, contact the right organizations, and then of course go through the GIFs and all the certified fintechs and then the banks to work with them, so we do everything professionally, so you can give people the assurance that when they buy something online, they will not be defrauded. And that's how we can grow the e-commerce platform.
Thank you all so much for being with us. This has been the e-commerce segment of the Citi Business Festival. We've been doing this all week long. So the first week we had Reboot. This week we have e-commerce, and we were focusing on engaging your customers. Next week we'll talk about agriculture, and then finally we'll look at trade. I had with me Ebo Richardson, who's the Chief Enablement Officer of Absa Bank Ghana. Stephen Naasei Boadi is the Lead Enabler of Enable Growth Consult. Maximus Ametorgoh is the Digital Lead of Pop Out. And finally, Archie Hesse is the Chief Executive Officer of GIPS. And my 4 key takeaways from all of them: number 1, focus on value to your customer. So when you wake up, focus on how I can add more value to my customer. Number 2, user experience is key to retaining your customer. So you can't have repeat customers if you give them a terrible experience, and you give them that great experience from the time they pay attention to your business till the time they pay for the product or service and are experiencing it. That is what will let them come back for your product and services. Thirdly, tighten up your supply chain. So from leveraging artificial intelligence to provide customer service, to deliveries, to your payment platforms, you need to tighten all of that up so that your business can grow. And finally, getting everything right. Go to the right regulators, get all the documents you need so that you can sustain your business. Thank you guys so much. My name is Jifa Ekuya Ametam, and I've been your lovely host for the e-commerce part of the Citi Business Festival. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.